By the end of this video, you will become a master storyteller. And the next story you tell will be 10 times better than any you've ever told. And it will be a story that actually makes people buy. Now, I've written a Wall Street Journal best-selling book, spoken on stages all around the world, and coached over 3,000 people. And the single thing that drives all of it is one storytelling method I call inception stories. Now, most people think a great story needs to be about something dramatic, a near-death experience, a rags to riches moment, something wild. And so they don't tell any stories because they think their life isn't interesting enough. But the most powerful stories ever told are about a cup of coffee, a walk to the fridge, a random Tuesday. You see, the story does not have to be fascinating. It simply has to be told in a fascinating way. So in this video, I'm going to show you what makes a story actually good, how to tell it so that people feel like buying, and the exact inception story framework you can start using today to make more money in your business. All right, so let's start with what makes a story actually good. Why stories are the most effective way to get people to follow you and buy from you is simple. The human mind remembers stories better than anything else. Take a story your father told you when you were 8 years old. You remember it right now. Something your professor told you 10 years ago, gone. You'll never remember it, and this is the part most people miss. They think that a good story is about what happened. Nobody cares what happened to you. They care about what they realize because of what happened to you. You see, most people tell stories like a narrator. This happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. That's a timeline, not a story. A story has one job, and that job is to plant an idea. That's why I call these inception stories. You see, the word inception literally means to plant an idea. Think of it like this. A good story gives someone a gift. That gift is the idea. And if that idea is good, they hold on to it. They're going to want to act on it. And that's when they need your help. That's how brands are grown and sales are made. And every good inception story does the same thing. It shows an opportunity arising from a problem. So there is a problem. And inside that problem, there's an opportunity. Your story reveals the opportunity. And once someone sees it, they can't unsee it. So you know the story of the Trojan horse, right? The Greeks couldn't break through the gates of Troy for 10 years. 10 years of war couldn't do it. So what did they do? They built a gift, a giant wooden horse. Troy opened the gates themselves and wheeled it right in. The soldiers were already inside. That's what an inception story does. Your idea is the soldiers. Your story is the horse. And your audience opens the gate themselves because it doesn't look like a pitch. It looks like a gift. So if you want to tell stories that actually move people, you start with one question. What do I want them to believe after hearing this? Not what's a cool story I can tell or what happened to me today. No, what idea am I planting? What's the opportunity I'm revealing inside of a problem they already have? Everything flows from that. The story is just the vehicle. And that's what separates a story people enjoy from a story that makes people buy. Now that you understand what a story actually needs to do, the question is, how do you tell it in a way that pulls people in so deep they don't even realize they're being sold? Because that's where most people completely blow it. So here's how to tell a story that pulls people in. I call it immersive storytelling. Here's the biggest mistake I see. Someone learns that stories sell. So they go tell a story, and at the end, they bolt on a pitch. And that's why you should buy my program. That's not an inception story. That's a story with a commercial duct taped to the end of it. And people feel it immediately. The whole point of an inception story is that the story does the selling. There's no pivot. There's no, and speaking of which, the idea lands and the offer just makes sense. It's the next logical step. If you have to explain why your story connects to the offer, then your story didn't work. But here's what makes that possible. You have to be immersive in your storytelling. You have to pull people into the story and you have to put them in it. Because when they see themselves in your story, they're not watching you tell it, they're living it. And when they're living it, the idea doesn't feel like something you taught them, it feels like something they discovered. So I'm going to teach you the put them in it technique, and here's how you do it. Every so often in your story, you stop narrating and you put the listener in the story. So let's say I wanted to tell a story about my weight loss journey and how I got lean. Instead of saying, I decided I really want to get lean, you say, have you ever had one of those days where you just say, I'm going to fix this problem in my life? And you make a firm commitment to yourself and you just start taking action right away. You see, that was me on that day. What just happened was now you're not watching me tell a story, you're remembering your moment. It's maybe not the same moment, but it's relatable, so you're in it. And another move, even simpler, you could just say the word imagine. Just imagine you're sitting there staring at a piece of chicken and egg whites, and you're thinking, man, I'm torturing myself and I'm not getting lean. That was me, and I couldn't figure it out. See, the word imagine is like a command. The second someone hears it, their brain starts building the scene. They're not watching your story anymore, they're inside it. And once they're inside it, every realization you have, they have too. Think about it like going to the doctor. If a doctor walks in and says, take this pill, you're skeptical. Why? What's wrong with me? Tell me what's wrong with me first. But if the doctor walks in and describes your exact symptoms before you even tell him, oh, the sharp pain in your lower back when you wake up, oh, how it radiates down your left leg, is that what's happening? Can you not sit for more than 20 minutes? Now you're nodding. You're like, yeah, that is what I feel. Now you trust him. Now when he says, here's what's going on, here's how to fix it, you don't argue. You take the pill. See, that's what immersive storytelling does. You describe their world so precisely that they think you're reading their mind. And as long as that world is relatable to your story, you got a great story. And see, the second they feel understood, even if the story is not about them, they're going to trust whatever comes next. So if you want your story to sell without selling, you got to do two things. One, put them in the story. Use have you ever and just imagine to pull them out of their world and into yours. Do this every so often throughout the story. Don't just narrate, make them feel it. Two, describe their pain better than they can describe for themselves. When they feel like you're inside their head, trust is instant. When trust is instant, the idea lands. And when the idea lands, the sale is already made. You just need to tell them where to click. And that's how you sell without ever pitching. The story does the work so you don't have to. Now, before we continue, and I will tell you the story that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, and I'll walk you through it so you can see how to put all this stuff into practice. But if you have stories that you use in your copy, I made a free tool called Copy Analyzer. I'll leave a link in the description. You can paste in your story, and it will actually grade it and tell you what you're doing wrong so you can make it better. So there are 4 points to an inception story. I'm going to walk you through each one, and then I'm going to show you exactly how I use this framework to tell an almond milk story, literally a story about a glass of almond milk, and I've used it multiple times to sell a lot of stuff. And this is one of my top selling stories, and it's literally about nothing. It's about almond milk. So the first one is the seed. This is the idea you want to plant. Before you write a single word of your story, you need to be crystal clear on this. What do you want them to believe after hearing it? Not what do you want them to know, what do you want them to believe? For example, if you're selling a coaching program, your seed might be the reason you're stuck isn't a lack of effort, it's that there's one hidden culprit you've overlooked, and it's usually easy to fix if you can find it. You see, that's a belief. And if someone truly believes that, what's the next logical step? Well, they go looking for someone who can find that culprit, which is exactly what you sell. Number 2, the scene. This is the specific everyday moment. And this is where most people overthink it. They think that the scene has to be dramatic. It has to be some amazing thing. And look, if you have some amazing thing, fine. But honestly, the more relatable stories are not amazing. They're relatable, which means they've happened to almost everybody. So your scene, what the story is based on, it doesn't have to be dramatic. It has to be specific. The more specific and even small the moment is, the more powerful it is. Because mundane moments are universal. Everybody has them. Nobody relates to your, I almost died on a mountain story, because most people have not almost died on a mountain. But everybody might relate to something like, well, I was standing in my kitchen at 6 a.m. staring at a cup of coffee. So your scene needs enough detail that the viewer feels like they're in the room, not a summary, a moment. What did you see? What were you thinking? What were you doing right before it clicked? Then comes the shift. This is the turn, the moment inside the scene where you realized something, where the old belief broke and the new one took its place. This is the most important part of the entire framework because it is the moment of inception. You're not telling them what to believe. You're showing yourself discovering the belief in real time. And when they watch you discover it, they discover it too. It doesn't feel like a lesson. It feels like a revelation they had alongside you. So finally comes the bridge. This is one sentence, maybe two. You take the shift and you connect it back to their world. That's when I realized, or this is exactly what happens when you XYZ. So you're not pitching here. You're drawing a straight line between the moment you just described and the situation they're currently sitting in. The problem. If the first three steps did their jobs, the bridge is all you need. The idea is already planted. The sale is already made. Let me show you an example, the almond milk story. This is literally one of the stories I've used, and I've used it in various forms, and it's made me a ton of money. So I'm gonna give you one of my favorite variations. So about 6 months ago, I decided I really wanted to lean out. Like I wanted abs, like abs. And I was sitting in my kitchen and I was thinking to myself, I wanna be as lean as possible. I'm almost 40, I just wanted to achieve that. Have any of you ever had one of those days where you think, man, there's something in my life I have yet to do, and I woke up today thinking, this is the day I make it happen. I'm gonna go all in. Well, that was me on this day. So I did, I went all in. I literally went full carnivore. I cut almost all the carbs, super clean diet, meat, the whole thing. And just imagine this. You're staring at a piece of chicken and egg whites, torturing yourself, and you're not getting lean. That was me. I couldn't figure it out. And then I looked down at my coffee and I thought, could it be the coffee? Coffee has 0 calories, but see, I was putting oat milk in it. So I go to the refrigerator, I grab the oat milk, I flip it around, and sure enough, loaded with calories, sugar, all kinds of stuff. And I did the math. I was having 6 or 7 cups of coffee a day, and each coffee was like 150 calories. So that's hundreds and hundreds of calories of stuff designed to do one thing, pack on weight. See, I'd been sabotaging myself every single morning and throughout the day, and I didn't even know it. And so I found out that you can buy a homemade almond or oat milk maker. And I decided to go with almonds because they're even lower calorie, and it's literally just almonds and water. And I tried it one night, and it was the best almond milk I've ever had. It was creamy, it was earthy, and it felt good to drink because I knew I could have as much as I wanted and I wouldn't get fat. All of a sudden, I started to see my abs. All of a sudden, I realized, right there was the culprit. And see, most of us in business experience this. We do what we think is right day in and day out. We're actually doing the work. We're grinding and we're not seeing the result. And what I'm here to tell you is that you might be doing all the things right. You might be out there posting, taking the sales calls, grinding it away. The problem is there's some culprit, there's something going on that you don't know what it is, and it's causing all this havoc. And I can tell you, I have coached over 3,000 entrepreneurs, and I'll tell you what that culprit is 99% of the time. It's your offer. There is something in your offer that has caused havoc across your entire business. And no matter how hard you try at marketing or sales, you will never, ever get that to work if there's something broken in the offer. And if you can just fix that, everything else will come easy. And then at this point, I've said, hey, go book a call with my team and we'll have a chat about how we can help you improve your offer and scale your business. Or if I was on stage, I might have just given away a free lead magnet. They get on my email list and they end up talking to us. Or maybe I sold them directly into some sort of online presentation, etc. The end CTA or offer or call to action is interchangeable. And so the belief that was planted was, I have a culprit. I have something going on. It's not my effort. It's not me. There's something I got to find. And if I fix it, everything will be good. And it's probably in my offer. So to break this down, the seed, the idea that I wanted to plant was this: you can work harder than 99% of people and still fail. Why? Because there's one little culprit, one tiny problem you've overlooked that's causing massive damage. And usually it's extremely easy to solve. But if you don't look for it, you will keep grinding harder and harder than everyone else and seeing mediocre results. Now the scene, I didn't start with a lesson. I started with a kitchen, a cup of coffee, a guy who can't figure out why he's not getting lean. That's it. And by the way, this scene doesn't have to do with business. It's relatable, everyday moment. Nothing dramatic. Just a specific everyday moment that everybody can see themselves in. The shift, the turn happened when I flipped over the oat milk and saw the calories. That's the aha moment. That's the moment where the old belief, I need to try harder, broke. And the new belief, there's a hidden culprit and I need to find it, took its place. I didn't tell you what to believe. You watched me discover it. And finally, there's the bridge. And here's where it connects to you. That idea that there's a culprit is now planted in your mind. And now you're thinking, what's my culprit? In my business, in my content, in my offer, what's the one thing I'm overlooking, holding everything back? And if I can help you find it, you don't need to be convinced. You already want the answer. Now look, that whole story took less than a couple minutes and there was no hard pitch in it. But by the end, you believe there's a culprit. And now anything I offer that helps you find that culprit just makes sense. That is inception. So here's what you need to do after this video. Think about the one belief that if your audience truly held it, would make buying from you a no-brainer. Write that down. That's your seed. Then look at your life, not for the dramatic moments, for the quiet ones, the Tuesday afternoon, the conversation with your kid, the glass of almond milk. Find the moment where you first believed it and tell that story. Seed, scene, shift, bridge. So here's the truth. You don't need a more interesting life. You don't need a rags to riches moment. You don't need something wild to happen to you. You need to look at the moments you already have and tell them in a way that plants an idea so deep in someone's mind that by the time you make an offer, they think buying was their idea. If you can do that, you'll never struggle to sell again. Now, if you want to see just how good your story is, I'm going to leave a link in the description where you can try out our free copy analyzer tool that will grade your story and any copy you might have so you can make it better. And that is how you become a master storyteller.